Alright guys, so here are the brake pads. This is the Duralast Gold. These are the ceramic brakes, the best Duralast ones that you could buy. And here are the rotors. These are the same thing, Duralast Gold. These are the vented ones, which is how factory is. And big ass beefy rotors. These things are like 23 pounds a piece. I got the coated ones that comes with the gold style, the gold series or whatever. So as you can see, there's coating on there. And yeah, so let's dive into this. Alright guys, so first step is you take off the center cap, and then you have a 22mm socket to take off the lug nuts, and then we're going to pull the wheel off. So we got the wheel off. This is what we're left with. Now, they're not terrible shape. The rotors have grooves in them, but my main concern is that they're all rusted and they're really starting to make noise. So looking at the pads aren't in the worst shape in the world, but once again, they're making very hard grinding noises, and they're just shot. The truck's been sitting for a while, so you know it's time to freshen it up, get it ready for the winter. And yeah, so on the back of the caliper we have this bolt and that bolt, which I already started taking out to access the pads, but we're actually gonna have to take off the entire assembly, which is these bolts. So there's one here and one on the bottom, which is right here, and that's going to take off the entire caliper, pull off the disc. Now as you can see, there's supposed to be 2 screws here. This one's looks like it's just maybe some dirt's in there, but the screws weren't put back in when these brakes were replaced. This truck has 152,000 miles on it, so these are obviously not the factory rotors. And yeah, so they never put these 2 screws back on. If you have them, you should put them on. It helps, but it's not completely necessary. So let's get the caliper off and start pulling off the rotor. Started with taking off the caliper itself. Like I said, the 2 outside bolts, they're 18mm, and pulled off the caliper. Just rested on top for now. Changed these brackets to hold the pad in, put all new on, being that everything is all rusted. We will pull this bracket off. Like I said, we got these 22mm bolts right here and right here, and that will take off this housing so we can access the rotor. Okay, so I removed the 2 bolts from here and here, and then this bracket just now slides off. You can put that to the side, and then you worry about taking the rotor off. So the rotor's off. Obviously, older trucks, rust, even cars, it's going to be basically the same procedure. You're going to have to hammer that rotor off. And it really doesn't matter because you're replacing it, so if you damage it, it's all good. Don't worry about it. So we're just going to open this rotor up and just slide the new one on. That's that. Alright, so the new rotor's on now. We're going to wipe off the grease before we put the wheel back on, so don't worry about that. But yeah, now we got to replace the hardware for the pads. Alright, so all the new hardware is in, all the pads are in, both sides. Pain in the ass, they barely have any room to fit. So next step, we're going to take the caliper and we have to compress the pistons. So we're going to do that with a C-clamp. So we're going to compress the piston. So take one of the old brake pads, and it doesn't really matter what side you put it on, but you want to make sure that you're connecting the two pistons because it's a dual piston caliper. And we're just going to put the clamp over it like this and tighten it down. So now you're done with the driver's side. So again, just give this all a quick wipe down. You don't want any of this grease, your dirty fingerprints, all that crap. Get it all off. Put the wheel back on. Repeat the same process on the other side.